Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a subscriber interview that many of you have been waiting for. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under this video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and it definitely matters. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? Alright guys, today we have our friend John Phoenix from Sweden back to share his terrifying and enlightening encounters that he has had with Dogmen of Sweden. Let's get into it. Alright everybody, I have a special guest today. I want to welcome back John Phoenix. John Phoenix, how are you today?
Great, Jeff. We had a great talk before.
Yes, we did.
Recording, yeah. Good, always good to talk to you, man.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. Today we're going to do a little different stuff. I know that you and I had talked about sharing your experiences and encounters. Also, Miss Misha's encounter that you said you wanted to share. But I kind of want to touch on something really quick. And John and I were just talking. And you were drained after the last couple of uploads. This will be the fourth upload that we've done. The kind of first one was just kind of a test run, and then the two, and a lot of the Q&A that we were going to do, you had gotten very excited and went into the comment section and chose to answer all of the questions instead of kind of compiling them and answering them online. And it really took a lot out of you, and you answered questions that, you tried to answer questions that you would sit and think about that actually could be answered on their own. If someone had just sat down and listened to this program or to the other programs that we had done, the answers were right there. You had said to me, "You're not the Dogman Whisperer."
No.
And, you have the information that you're sharing with us is the information you're going to share. There's information that you can share and information you can't share. What you can share is what you're going to share. You're going to try to share it all. And the questions that are asked are answered in the uploads. There are some that may not be, and that we'll look through. But it really tired you out, and you wanted to make sure people knew that you weren't the Dogman Whisperer. You were given a task, and it was your task to share the information that you could share, that you knew. And of course, there's information you can't share, but there's information that you have the ability to share, and you're gonna, you said it the first time, I'm going to share what I can, and what I can't, I got to keep to myself.
Exactly, because Big Alpha, he doesn't share everything with me, of course, and also Miss Misha, because we're not allowed to know everything about everything that he does.
Right.
for all the right reasons, because we can't comprehend some stuff, and we're not, even though he knows about the future, the near future, the close future, why should we as humans know about things that happens that he does?
Yeah.
We are not allowed to do that one, because then we don't take the active part of it. If you know something and you act on it because you know something will happen in the future, then you don't maybe act right.
Yeah.
And then it's become a hazard. So that's why I'm very grateful, of course, to everybody who asking me the questions, and I really appreciate your engagement of doing that one. But some questions are very repetitive from some people who hasn't, like Jeff said, who hasn't listened thoroughly to this first segment. And like Jeff said, I'm not the Dogman Whisperer. I'm not claiming to be the Dogman Whisperer. I'm just a vessel between Big Alpha and us humans of the information that he wants to share with us.
Yeah. You know
So far.
you know what you know. You know what
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and you're going to share what you can. And here's another thing. And I'm not speaking for Alpha. I'm going to speak on what you and I had talked about. Alpha himself is a vessel. Alpha does not know all. Alpha knows what he has been granted by the all-powerful, the one creator. And
yes, sir.
He's a vessel, and there are things that he knows that he can share and things that he cannot share. And then there's things that he doesn't know because he's not the all-powerful. He is just a vessel. I kind of want, you're going to share encounters today, your encounters and Miss Misha's encounter, but I wanted to touch on one thing before we got into it. And it's a comment that really I saw, and I saw multiple, and we're not in any way critiquing anyone, because questions are how we learn. But listening to is how we learn. And if you have to listen to this upload 2 times to really hear it, then do so. If you don't, then don't. Like, I've read books multiple times just to get it. There's a question or kind of a statement, and multiple people have made that said, why can't we live in harmony with these cryptids, these good cryptids, or I'm looking forward to living in harmony with these good cryptids? And the answer is simple: we never will. They're no animal, and that's what humans are, live in perfect harmony with any other animal. We, as humans, use other animals as tools or as food, and unfortunately, as humans, we would extort these other cryptids, and they know that because of the centuries prior to. So I don't know if that's pretty much what you agree with, but I think that's what I got from talking with you. The mic's yours if you want to touch a little more on that.
Well, I'm totally agree with you, Jeff. The reason why we can't live in harmony is because they look down on us, because we are so, you can say, primitive, still are, as different races and different religions. We are still primitive. Because we fight, like we talked about in the last segment, we are fighting for some petty stuff.
Yeah.
My God is greater than your God, and my money is more worth than your money, and my territory is bigger than yours, or mine is smaller, so that's why I'm going to chase you off your territory.
Right.
And as long as we are that pitiful, the other ones, just like I said in the first segments, they look down on us like we are a ghetto. And everybody needs to know that here on Earth, I'm going to state it once again, here on Earth, it is a battlefield in the universe between good and evil. right off the bat.
Yeah.
All around you. You don't have to be believing in supernatural stuff. Just look upon 2 neighborhoods, 2 blocks in LA, or 2 blocks over here in Stockholm as well, or anywhere in the world where you have different ethnicities and different cultures, and they are at war.
There's always conflict. There's always been conflict, since human existence.
They don't know time. It's always been conflict. And I don't say that everybody's bad, but you stand up for yourself, of course.
Right.
When you get attacked, you stand up for yourself, and then it creates a conflict instead of, I'm not saying everybody's going to live in harmony and kumbaya. Never going to happen.
Right.
Never going to happen.
I laughed because kumbaya is a thing that we sing over in Boy Scouts in America, and I think it's funny that a guy from Sweden knows the kumbaya. Conflict has been going on since the dawn of time. There's a book that I love, and it's the Neanderthal, modern human predation, this and that, them and us. And it was written by a gentleman named, his last name's Van Drimini. And he had stated that, the reason why humans are how we are and how we have this instinctual fear of the dark and this and that is because we've always been in conflict. We were in conflict with Neanderthal. We almost got wiped out, but what did we do? We became stronger and better warriors and eventually wiped them out. It's just been an ongoing human thing. That's what humans do, unfortunately. That's what we are. We are conflict creators, and conflict follows us wherever we go, unfortunately. No matter what.
That's the way, exactly like you say, it's been since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
That we are in conflict with each other, with other so-called packs or so-called clans or some other village or whatever.
I'm going to hit pause really quick because your headphone is we're getting that clicking again.
Static.
Yeah. Oh. Hang on 1 second, everyone.
Change my...
All right, guys, we got that fixed. So there's always been conflict, and there's just things that as human beings we are not meant to know, and there's things that right now John can't share with us because he doesn't know, or he cannot by Alpha. So all of the questions are answered pretty much in all of these uploads. And if there is, we're not saying don't ask questions in the comment section. That's not what we're saying. But before asking the question, listen to the upload again, and then or think about the question, because I saw a couple that were self-explanatory. With that, I think we pretty much touched on what you and I wanted to touch on.
I'm just going to state that I'm going to take a hiatus after being talking to Jeff now for some more episodes to answer all your questions. You can still ask the questions, but I'm going to gather it. I'm going to come back with if I have more information.
Right. Because
once I have answered all the questions, I'm pretty much done so far.
Right.
And I'm just going to also inflict that if you want to see the picture of Alpha, you have to go to the Facebook page. We can't write Facebook on YouTube for some reason.
Yeah, we tried and it just won't work.
Yeah, we tried so many times, and I wrote to individuals as well, and it got erased. So my name on Facebook is John Phoenix North. If you type that in the bar, you come to my page, you scroll down, and you see the pictures very clear.
Right.
And what I've been talking about in the previous segments.
And the ones are, I just want to touch basis on one thing, so there is not any confusion, because there sometimes confusion happens. There's the picture of the alpha is in the woods where he's standing. There's the whole picture is there. I was only granted 9x16. There's also a picture John put in there that he had created to kind of mimic what alpha would look like. And I don't want people to think that that's the real picture of alpha. The real picture of alpha that we're talking about is the one that 9x16 that was on the video that we did, but the full picture where you can see the top or the bottom of the woods to the top of the woods. I just wanted to clarify that so some people, wouldn't see that one picture and be like, that's not what that, and then ridicule would happen. So
exactly, because like I said in the previous segment, that we took the picture 40 yards away, and then you see loud and clear, you can say, that you see Alpha standing there 10 feet 4 inches tall. And the other picture, the close-up picture, is actually my dog. And the picture is so resemblance of these kind of Dogman, the so-called pure ones. Definitely a spitting image of how Alpha looks like, but of course 4 or 5 times bigger.
Right.
So that's why I put the picture of my dog in this homepage or the page.
Right.
So don't think that this close-up picture is the Alpha. No. And I actually stated that one in the text, of course, so it would be no confusion.
Right. Right. Well, I just wanted to touch on that, so just in case people didn't read it.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah. Yes. Now it's time for the encounters, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So how old were you when you had your first encounter?
I'm going to be repetitive here because some of you listeners maybe hasn't listened to the first segment. I was 5 years old. I live out on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
We had a farm in Sweden, and there were no animals on our farm. But it was a farm with a barn and everything. And back in the 80s, we were allowed, of course, different from now, that we just gone through the woods, or we follow a creek, or we follow a game trail, or whatever. So I and my buddy from next door, one time we went down to a clearing, not very far from the house, of course. We were always in the vicinity of the house. And we came to this clearing, and it felt odd after a while. And it felt like somebody's watching us, and both of us felt that one. I mean, I was only like 5-6 years old. And we were just looking around, and we said, no, this feels very off. And that was the first time I got this tingling feeling in the back of my neck. That, of course, back then when I was 5-6 years old, I didn't know what it was. I just, like you said, humans are afraid of the dark because we don't see good in the dark. Right. And we don't know what is lurking in the dark. But this was daytime. This was not nighttime or evening or in the late afternoon, because up here in Sweden, of course, we have a different light than you have in most part of the world. Because when we're up north, in the summer, it's daylight all the time, more or less. So in the wintertime and autumn and spring, we have daylight. Of course, depends on where you live in Sweden, but it's very short. But this was in the summertime. So we just looked on each other and said, we have to go. And then we went. And I still remember that feeling. That's the beauty of it. Or you can say, I still, to this day, I'm 47 years old. This was 42 years ago. And I still remember that feeling. But of course I didn't know what it was. And we had this house. It was a pretty big house because, of course, it's a farm. And I was my room was on the second floor, and I facing the woods. and also the field. I had one field facing. And sometimes I just stood and look out in the dark, and I just had this same kind of feeling. Of course, it's kids' imagination. Of course, because like I said, I was dead scared of werewolves. I still loved wolves, but dead scared of werewolf stories. And then, of course, when I met Miss Misha, she got the pieces of the puzzle together, of course. But, I mean, that was 42 years later.
Right. So when you met her, did you tell her about your experience that you had at 5, or did she kind of know about it, kind of like a medium? Or?
Exactly. I was telling her about the first time I had this kind of weird feeling, and she just said, no, that was your handler. I was like, what? And then she explained, like we talked about the previous segment, that it was your handler. And they say, oh, they were evil and stuff like that. No, well, if they were evil, they would have probably revealed themselves and scare the living daylight out of me and my buddy. But of course, he didn't. And the second time, I felt this really, really off thing. Because, the first time, of course, they would get totally silent. But like I said, like you guys, some of you guys also experienced that one in the younger age. Of course, you don't know why they would get silent. It's like you are in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And time just stands still and space just stands still for some reason. And it is within our core that we feel something is off. Exactly like you said, Jeff, about the dark.
Yeah.
It is within our DNA to feel something is off, and you watch your 6 and you feel 2 eyes burning into your back of your neck or in the back. So the second time I was together with a friend of mine, we're friends of the family. It was approximately 16 miles from where we live. We were friends, or actually our parents been friends since 1972. And I was staying over there. We are at the same age almost, so I was staying over there and we had a great time. And their hunting dog just ran away. And they have actually cattle on their farm. So we had to head down to the woods. It was pine trees. It was not very thick and dark and like a troll wood. And we were yelling for her, searching for her, and all of a sudden, the same feeling came upon us both. That, something is off. The wood got totally silent, and we both felt this same kind of feeling with the first childhood friend. That something is watching us. And it's not a deer. We didn't see any deer. There were no moose standing there, because back then we had a lot of moose in the woods. So we just look upon each other, same thing, the same thing as well. And we said, we gotta go. And it was 7-8 years apart from the first experience, so I remember that feeling from the first time, and I said, something is off here. We have to go. We can't wait for the dog. Maybe she comes back. Of course she did. And we went just up, and that was also in the daytime. And I didn't have any clue about that kind of feeling. But the funny thing is that I and also the first buddy and the second buddy felt the same thing. It is not like you imagine it yourself. And you guys who listen, you know for sure that some of you have been 2, 3, a whole company of hunters or people hiking, and you all or most of you feel the same thing. So that's a reality, of course, within the group. Doesn't have to be the reality of the world, but you guys share one unique experience, good or bad, but still though you share it. So I was not very fond of the woods, I can say, for many years. Many years. I didn't like to hike, even though I live, like I said, close to recreation areas, close to the woods all my life. Doesn't matter which city I've been living in. I'm not the outdoors person, you can say. And the third time, it was about 2012, 13 when I started to listen to and to the different podcasts or YouTube channels. 14, I've been really into it. Not obsessive, but still really into it. And I got my beautiful dog, the guy who is in the picture on my Facebook page. And we were walking in the clearing because it was just a small clearing between our complex and the inner highway, you can say, because we have a ring, you say, that goes around the town. And sometimes when I walked out with him in just this small clearing for the last walk with the dog before we hit the bed, was that I felt something. And that was a really strange feeling as well. I got my mag light and I shone, especially in the wintertime. And it was dark. It's pitch dark. And then sometimes I was up at night because I'm a night owl working night shifts. And I was standing on the third floor because this complex is all just four store high. I was looking to the clearing. I was thinking and feeling that something is looking up upon me in like 3 a.m, the witching hour. I got this strange feeling, not that I was afraid, and that was way years before I met the cloak hedgehog or Miss Misha. And I was just like, no, something is odd. I don't know why. It feels very strange, but it was not scary, but still an odd feeling that something is off. And I took that very seriously into consideration. I didn't speak to my ex about it. I didn't speak to anybody about it because you don't want to be labeled as a fool or
crazy
or something like that. Because I was really into all the podcasts that came out first. You can actually listen to one YouTube channel, which is, unfortunately, they don't do it anymore. It's F'd Up. That was the first one I listened to. And these guys are the pioneers of now the modern different channels. So check it out. And then it happens, I have to read my notes. It happens one more time. And this is funny. A good friend of mine. I've been talking to him about Dogman and the existence of Dogman and Bigfoot because he lived a couple hours west from Stockholm. And in a small village, and of course, here in Sweden, everything is surrounded by woods. Like I said, it's not like redwood tree, but it's like Montana, Washington, Oregon, but smaller. There's thick, dense woods, more or less, in the whole part of mid-Sweden and North Sweden and Norway and Finland as well. Lakes and lots of woods. And he was on his way home from work one evening, and he had to reveal himself. He had to take a leak. So he just took a U-turn into the parking spot, or not the parking spot, it's like more when you are on the highway, you go and you just turn off to not the skid row, but where the tractors and
like a rest stop.
Yeah, it is like a rest stop, but still not. It's just
pull off,
the way that you can turn around. Yeah, pull off. You can say pull off. And it was dark. It was in late September, he said to me, and he got that feeling as well. And he is not very spiritual, you can say. He's really afraid of everything. So he stood behind the car, and he got this feeling as well. And from the lights of the car, he saw one thing standing on the other side of the game fence, because here in Sweden we have miles and miles and miles of game fences. It's everywhere along the highways, more or less.
And what does that keep, like, deer from running into the highway and stuff like that?
Yeah,
okay.
Deer and moose. So it's approximately 7.5 feet tall. fence to prevent, not deer, because you can hit the deer and survive, but if
Right.
you crash into a moose, then it's bye-bye,
Yeah.
more or less. So, sorry, 1 second, please.
Yeah.
Turned his head, and he saw this figure standing there with their arms around one pine tree. Because here in Sweden we have pine trees are really big, almost like the Christmas tree, but the pine tree. And what the funny thing is, when he talked to me about it, he knew about what I have told him, and he didn't believe me because it's so far-fetched. But this dogman, he had tufts, you say, yeah? Tufts, not tusks, tufts, like a lynx,
Yeah.
on the top of his head. The ears were totally different from the pure ones, which I have realized now. And this guy, he was just standing there, so of course he got so scared, so he almost pissed his pants. Sorry for the straightforward, but he just got the thing done and then jumped in and took away, speeding off towards home, of course. And the funny thing is that exactly the same spot I got my fourth encounter. And luckily Miss Misha filled in on this one. So I was driving actually to his place, spending a weekend there. And it was raining. It was December. I remember it clear as day. And it's deserted. You know, in Sweden here we don't have many rest stops. We have gas stations, of course, and not all of them are open 24/7. Some of them are because we have Circle K now. But I was driving and it was heavy raining, and it was winter, but still it was like, you know, what do you say, 35, 36 in Fahrenheit. In Celsius it's like 4-6 degrees.
So not freezing, but cold.
Yeah, almost to the zero
Right.
Celsius, but like 32 in Fahrenheit, but a couple of degrees higher. Because it was raining, it was not mixing with snow, it was really heavy rain. And I really said, I really need to take a leak, because I've been drinking so much Cola Zero. I really need to take a leak. Oh, well, here's a stop, I can just go here. And I turned the car. It's of course pitch dark, and my headlight is facing the part of the woods. And then I got the feeling again that no, you should not step out of your car. Just move on. You should not step out of your car, and if you look straight in the same way as the headlight, you're probably going to see something. And I got this really, really not tingling feeling. It was dead scary feeling. Oh no, otherwise I just have to do it in my pants, or I have to find the next gas station, because I've been riding this way for so many times, so I know that it was a gas station a little bit further on. So I choose not to step out of the car in the rain, and I just went to the gas station instead, of course. And that feeling was so overwhelming. It was not dead fear feeling, but still though, no. Stay in the car, go away. And afterwards, Ms. Misha said that, yeah, it was one of your handlers testing you. I was like, what? And by accident, afterwards, I knew that was exactly the same spot that my friend had stopped at. But the funny thing is, it was the two different dogmen. And she said, yeah, it was a test. And I said, like X miles from Stockholm, and yeah. But they are traveling with you. One of them are traveling with you. Of course. I said, of course, what? No, just to check up upon you. They are running next to you or behind you or in front of you, but they are running. That's why I said they can travel 600 k's in one take, or 370 miles in one take if you travel. Because I and Miss Misha are always surveillance 24/7, 365. I know that this sounds totally far-fetched, totally insane. But I can tell you one story later on that prove it. So I just burned out from this. What do you say the name was? Jeff?
Like pit stop, rest stop, pull off, pull off.
I said another word, but yeah,
pull
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah, pull off, yeah. And I went to the gas station, of course, instead. So that was the first experience I had with, as an adult, with this kind of feeling. And some of you who listen, of course, know the exact same kind of feeling that I felt,
Mm-hmm.
because it was not a good feeling.
No.
Not at all. And later on, afterwards, I met Miss Misha, and we met the Alpha and everything, and she filled all the blanks for me. And I got aware of the things that I know today.
When you met Alpha, when you went
Yeah.
to the bog,
Yeah.
I'm assuming Miss Misha informed you that you were going to meet the Alpha.
Yeah.
What was there fear? Was there apprehension, excitement? What was the main feeling that you were feeling?
I had been talking to her for I don't know how many months, but we've been talking hours and hours on the phone, and of course we clicked right off the bat,
mm-hmm.
because it was meant to be that we clicked right off the bat. And I and Miss Misha are just friends. She has her family, I had mine.
Right.
So we're just friends, very close friends, because we are almost like twin souls. We think alike. She's a little bit ahead of me sometimes, and I can fill in because I'm older. I can fill in some advice for her in the ordinary life. And I said I had to come to your place to meet up. He said, yeah, he's been looking forward to meet you because he wants to meet you. Because everything has a time and place in this journey. So I was excited. I'm not overexcited, but I was excited, of course, to finally meet Big Alpha. And I came up to the place. We sat down and had a barbecue with her husband, and then we said, yeah, it was in the summer, in the spring, late spring. So it was daylight here. So we went into the woods and out the lake, and she said they're going to be here. There was so many mosquitoes. It was insane. And also information for you guys, Dogman are affected by mosquitoes, regardless where they are in the world. They don't like it. And up here in Scandinavia, the mosquitoes are not very big, but they are intense, you can say. And there are actually villages here, or small villages here, who they can't let their cattle out because there are so many mosquitoes.
Yeah, they
So
swarm.
They swarm, and they bomb the lakes with oil, not oil, but olive oil,
mm-hmm.
to prevent the hatching process.
Yeah.
So there was so many mosquitoes, and we're standing there, and she said, "Shh, wait, they're here." And I didn't see anything. I didn't feel this tingly feeling. So she just took a piece of wood and knocked on the tree. Tuk, tuk, tuk. So she just let them know that we were here. So we went out to the bog. We're standing there, and she said, yeah, they're here. Blah, 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 all around us. And I said, no, I can't feel anything. I can't sense anything. I can't see anything. And she was communicating with him, of course, and he was standing exactly as the same as the photo. He was not in the front line. It was the young ones who were standing there, and they were a little bit, not aggressive, but, cocky, you can say. And also the alpha female, she was also in front of Alpha, but she was very, not submissive, but she was hesitant, reserved, you can say. And then she spoke with them telepathically, of course, and that's why he said, well, take a picture. And the young ones are more like, full of testosterone. What would you say? Testosterone. Yeah. Edit this one out, please. They were like, no, why should they take a picture? We don't want to be in the picture, like obnoxious youngsters. And that's when he said, shush, she will take a picture. And that's a picture that you all see. And I had also a gift for them. And that was bacon. 2 pounds of smoked bacon that I left on the bog. And I said, enjoy. And because you have to pay the respect, and you should always bring a gift to the persons or something else that you are about to visit.
Yeah.
They enjoyed it.
Yep.
He said afterwards, because I saw in one comment that they always like bacon.
They do.
There's
a subscriber, Jody. He had done some experiments, and he realized that for some reason the Sasquatches in Nantahala, in that region of North Carolina, they will come out if you are cooking bacon on an open fire, like if you're camping, and they will run because it's something about the odor, that smell, that goodness.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a sticker that says life is better with bacon. So I mean, bacon's great. So I can't blame them for not liking bacon.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with smoked pork belly or side, as we have here in Sweden as well. The same thing goes with that one, because it's the same kind of aroma, you can say. It's not odor, it's aroma that intrigues these kind of beings to get drawn into the campfire.
That's interesting. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's interesting because
sure.
In America, and I don't know if it's in Sweden, probably is, because I'm starting to realize that Sweden is very similar to America. A dog treat, one of the dog treats that you can get your dog is a pig ear, and it's an actual pig ear, and it's got that, it doesn't smell like a rawhide, it's got a kind of smoky smell to it. So I mean, I find that kind of interesting that dogs love pig ear in America. They just, I don't know in Sweden if you got that, but
same thing.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that pork, smoked pork, would be a just something that would drive them to come in closer to.
I think it's just because of the way that not processing that way, but when they smoke meat from the pig, is something that draw them to you.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with burgers. I heard one story years ago. I think it was on a Bigfoot show that they were cooking burgers, of course, with bacon on it, and there was so many Bigfoot who just standing around in the clearing, of course, outside the light. I think they even threw a couple of burgers to them.
That's interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So now, when you left the bacon, did they immediately grab it, or did you have to?
No, they were actually standing they were keeping the distance, because it was the first time I met them. So they were, of course, the rest of the pack were hesitant. They were a little bit like questioning what he is.
What your motives were and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they of course they know Miss Misha. That was a little bit way before she was a full member of the pack, but still, though, she was a prospect, if you use the biker terms.
Okay.
And she was under protection, the Alpha, already back then. Of course, not the full member, but still, though, a prospect, a full prospect, on her way to be a member of the pack.
Okay.
But when you have 20 individuals and becomes a guy that they never heard about, seen or anything, and he was stepping into their territory, of course they would be like, who is he? Why is he here? And then, of course, Alpha said, cool, he's invited by me. And that's the feeling I got also, because I turned to Big Alpha and paid my respect to him.
Right. Not
like submissive. I was thinking, oh, it's so good to, like, if when we meet for the first time, Jeff, now hopefully in 2023.
Yeah.
I would say, so nice to meet you, Jeff.
Yeah,
Really
like
nice to meet
a
you.
respect,
Finally
like a
with-
respect.
Yeah. As you do with people that
Yeah,
you've been talking
exactly.
or chatting with. Like, so nice to meet you. I heard so much good about you.
Right.
And that's the same thing I did to Big Alpha. And I mean, he's been my protector and surveillance, or not my guardian, but the one who watched over me since I was a kid. Of course, I paid respect to him.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to do it because you have to be respectful. Like I said, you have to be respectful, show your loyalty, show your respect to them, but not in a submissive way when you are prospecting for being a full member.
Mm-hmm.
Because they of course are on a higher level in that way. They are full members, but you have to prove yourself. Like I said, into my soul and see that I was actually a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
That was the whole purpose to being up there, to show myself, and they can see me as I am and hear me speaking and connecting, and that I was in connection with, actually in sync with Miss Misha. And of course she put herself on the line and said, yeah, Tobias is, sorry, edit that one out. John is coming up to pay his respect and want to meet you. And Alpha, of course, wants to meet me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean I wonder when, okay, because you had said like you weren't submissive and stuff like that. When wolf packs are together, or there's an alpha in this wolf pack, and a male who is obviously less than the alpha will be very submissive and kind of roll on their back and stuff. Do the younger dogmen, are they submissive? Not necessarily do they roll on their back, but are they very submissive to the alpha?
Yes. Because otherwise they get their ass whooped.
Okay.
In that way. You know, if you challenge Alpha in any way, not like you are having a teenager, but because it's the Alpha and the Beta couple who setting the rules, like parents.
Mm-hmm.
And actually they are the Beta couple because they have to prove themselves to be Beta couple as well.
Right.
So the same thing with wolves. It's not the Alpha who discipline the pups in that way. They are nurses for the Alpha's pups, but they are the ones, exactly like you have a maid or a nanny.
Mm-hmm.
But when it gets out of hand, then the parents step in and discipline the kids.
Okay.
So they are, of course, submissive, but not in a bad way, you can say.
Okay.
They know the place, and if they don't know the places, you'll be sure that Alpha would just take a look upon them and say, like he said, shush.
Right.
I'm in charge here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody know the picking order. They don't pick on each other, but the picking order is the same thing with the military, the same thing with a wolf pack, the same thing is with a bunch of dogs who are roaming around together.
Yeah. Even at work, there's a pecking order, even in the jobs. I really want to hear more about, I'm on a time restraint, but I wanted to ask you a question. You had said you had a experience or something that would prove that they were there to protect you. Can you share that?
Yeah. I was traveling from Norway to Sweden last winter, and I actually stated that one on the other channel, which I just written my experience with too. I was driving in a small village in the one part of Sweden, the western part of Sweden from Norway. I just came across the border, and I had a small car. I have a small car, not very big car, like a shoebox, but big shoebox.
Right.
So just in the city line or the village, the line of the village, you can say, because it's not a city, one car in front of me is just swerved, and it was winter time. About 1.5 meter high embankment of snow on each side, which is how many feet? 5 feet, 6 feet? No, 6 feet. 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet, 4, 5, between 4 and 5 feet high. And I just traveled about 45 miles per hour, so it was not fast because it within the limits of this village. And then I just saw, because I have very bad high beams, because we don't, of course, drive with high beams when you have a car in front of you.
Right.
And it was one moose who were 6 feet. A young moose, but still 6 feet tall. And it was out on the road, and something happened to it. So he just, what is the word, Jeff? I forgot the word. When he stand on the hind leg and just
like
kicking with his front leg.
Like a kick? I don't like.
No. Can you pause 1 second?
Yeah.
I just and this moose, it just enchanced, and his back legs was on the embankment, and he just almost did a flip, not the flip, but it was so strange, and he just went the other way toward the woods, and I was like, how did this happen? Because it was a millisecond, it was 1 yard from hitting my car, and if I would hit this moose, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys or inform you guys. I wouldn't be dead probably, but still, that was a close call.
Right.
And then I went down to Stockholm, and nothing happens, and I just paused it just by the road.
Okay.
Because I was so tired. And I just stepped out of the car. Back then I was smoking, unfortunately. And I just heard panting next to me. Like, and I said, well, guys, take a 5 minutes break. So I stood there and just waiting, because it was dead silent all around, and the stars were shining, and the snow was glittering, and it was in the middle of night. No, I mean, somewhere out, way off any civilization. And then I would just jump in my car and continue the trip back to Stockholm.
And that was your handlers, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I had before talked to Miss Misha about it, and she said, you can ask for protection. And I said, cool. And then when I travel long distance, I just asked for protection, that they clear everything with wild game, so I don't collide.
Right.
People would think I'm nuts, but I know what happened. And she said, yeah, they saved me from that one.
Well, the way you explain it is, you've got the moose in front of you, and then all of a sudden it does this kind of
enchant.
Yeah, just very strange, and then it's off into the woods in a split second. That's not physically possible. You know, it's just something that's not possible. It's not something. There's two different things. You could say it's something you don't see every day, but no, this is something that just is not possible. It's just not even physically possible to happen, and it happened in front of you, you know.
I was less than 1 yard from hitting that moose on his front legs. 1 millisecond, because I was traveling, like I said, like 45 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
And this happened, that he enchant and just run away because they scared him off, or some of them throw him for some reason, something like that.
Crushed
and that
your
was
car.
My guardians. And I, like I said, I and Miss Misha, we have our respective guardians 24/7, 365.
Are they the same or different? Like, are your guardians her?
No,
okay.
no. I I have my the same.
Your own, okay.
Two from my pack and 2 from her pack, because Big Alpha is not the guardian. He just look up. He's in connection with us, so he knows everything what's going on in the ordinary life.
Now, when you say 2 from your pack and 2 from her pack, just so there's no confusion, and yet Miss Misha is part of Alpha's pack. These 2 that are yours and 2 that are hers, are they in Alpha's pack? So they're all in one pack, correct?
No.
No. Okay. How does that work? If she would the ones that protect Miss Misha be part of Alpha's pack if she's part of his pack, or no? You know,
she is part of his pack, because his pack is the original one where she lives.
So her guardians would be from Alpha's pack.
Yeah.
Okay, and yours are a different pack though. Yours are from a different pack. Okay.
Mine is in biker terms. Mine are Stockholm chapter.
Okay.
And her is blah 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 chapter.
Okay.
And blah 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 chapter is the great chapter.
All right.
Where the president of Sweden is situated.
The Alpha Dogman
would
be. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Big Alpha. Okay. I wouldn't say the original.
Right.
Original chapter, but that's the main chapter.
Right.
The head office, you can say.
And another thing that I wanted to clear up too, that you just kind of reminded me of, is Alpha's only 60-something years old, correct? Is that what you said?
Yes, he's about 60 to 65 years old.
So,
and they don't count. Of course, they don't count dog years, but they
right,
have
right,
human years.
So he's been around on this planet for that long. And he's, of course, acquired massive information from the past and from just him living his life. So it's, and I'm not...
He's been... Oh, sorry, Jeff. He's been Alpha for 40 years. I've actually texted Miss Misha about it. And he's been Alpha since he was 20 years old.
Okay.
And the reason why he got so young as an Alpha, I don't know yet. But if you just compare to the courts, once again, because his father was Alpha before him, probably. They can vote a different Big Alpha all around the world if they messed up. It's like a console.
Right.
But otherwise, you inherited this thing because you also inherited all the information and knowledge. Not everything comes from higher power.
Right, like a kingship, kind of like it's just passed along.
It is exactly like courts. It is exactly like kingship, exactly like that one. But
does he have children?
You can also be charged if you messed up, if you're not the right.
Right, if you don't live up here, right.
Yes, the standards, and that's why he's so majestic.
Okay.
He is incredible majestic. You can see that in the picture. And you see when you meet, if any of you would have met Queen Elizabeth II, she is, or actually was, still is, the Queen. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or if you are in favor of royalties. So many people respect her because she is the Queen. She was the key to the past. Charles will never be the one.
Right.
William would never be the one. Because she has an aura of being this queen-like, majestic, proper majestic, in the right way.
Yep.
In my opinion. That's only my opinion. But she was something else. And she was the key to the old way of look upon kings and queens and stuff. You can also say the Emperor of Japan. Now I think is an empress in succession, but there is still one emperor. Those two courts have the longest history of being a court in the bloodline, almost straight down. The rest of all kings and prince and princess and queens, but those ones, if you see the old emperor of Japan, he has the same vibe. He has the same aura of being majestic. The same thing goes with Alpha. He is majestic.
Right.
So it was like I met a president or a royalty, but I am what I am. I can shake a hand to any president because they are not above me in that way, but they have this title. But still, you pay respect to somebody who are older and way more knowledgeable than you are.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you actually on air, I had the opportunity to meet Mrs. Presley one time.
Okay.
And she has the same aura. She has the same aura, a queen-like aura, grace, elegance, style.
Right.
And not many people have it. They don't have it. A few people have it. Or has. I don't know if it's have or has, but they has it.
Yep. Yeah,
and
that's amazing.
it's the same kind of aura when I met Alpha, Big Alpha. So that's why I'm so respectful and humble to have met it first time. Definitely.
Yep. Like I said, I'm kind of on a time restraint. We're about an hour in. I got one last question I kind of wanted to ask, and
yes, sir.
Does Alpha have children?
Yes.
Okay.
He has.
Many of them, and how does he treat them, or have you been around them enough to not, or know or not know?
No.
Okay.
I haven't been. Miss Misha has been, of course, because she is within the pack. So I'm going to check with her further on to answer that question.
Okay.
But what I sense now is that he has sons.
Okay.
And just like you said, the courtship or
a succession, he's got to have a son
Yeah, and there are, like I stated before in the previous segments, there are the oldest son is the one who takes the reign after Big Alpha dies.
Right.
And he's been, of course, raised like a future Alpha. So he get more knowledge than the other ones to a certain extent. And then, of course, when they become Alpha, they get the rest of the knowledge from the higher power. Because of course, it's a process for them too.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty heavy burden to be, 15 and suddenly you know everything. Like I said, they have the regulations and rules here on Earth as well. But as long as they are here on Earth, they have to play by this kind of rules and regulations. And then I just can say that some of the listeners ask, why don't they jump to different dimensions when they get hunted? No, because they have regulations while here on Earth. If they get shot at and injured, they die here. If not, they go to another dimension to heal. That's their only chance to close the door behind them in the corridor and fast go to open up the other door and go to the other dimension to heal. So that's why they have to play by certain rules,
right,
and regulations here on Earth for everything.
Yeah.
Because they are not aparted from the things that the rest of us are. Doesn't matter if you're cryptid, if you're alien, or if you're human. It sounds crazy, I know, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's
if you are here on Earth, you have to play by the earthly rules.
Yeah, there's always rules that you've got to follow. I mean, and if you choose not to follow them, then there's punishment.
Yeah, that's why you can save yourself, or a lot of people have saved themselves from evil, because they put salt around the house or on the threshold. That's why they say Saint Michael's prayer, or they run into the church, because evil has to play by the same rules as the good ones. On the other side of the coin, of course. Or the fence. I don't know how you say it in English, but that's the way it is. And that makes sense too. If you think about it. That's why you should not be dabbing with evil. That's why you should not be dabbing with Ouija boards, and because we are humans. We don't know everything. We can't handle everything.
We don't have the comprehension of something so powerful beyond our.
No.
Yeah.
That's why this demonic demonic Dogman and demonic Bigfoot and other demonic beings, they shy away when you say a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, maybe, but
right.
most of them, as far as I heard. And it's very good to know Saint Michael's prayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or pray to God or Jesus, whatever you like. But still, though, Saint Michael is very powerful, so that's why he's Saint Michael.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I go out around some places, I definitely gonna say Saint Michael's prayer. Then you have protection. Oh, of course, I have protection from my pack and the alpha. But if you not have protection from super werewolves, then it's good to have the protection from holy water or Saint Michael's prayer or whatever rocks your boat.
Absolutely. All right, my friend. I do have to end the interview today.
Yeah.
I know we'll probably do, if it's good and feasible for you, one more show before you go into hiatus. And
I think it's going to be like 2-2, Jeff, because I have so many answers. Too many questions to answer, and also the last segment of this show, because I haven't actually touched bottom with my 2 last experience, so we can start with that one.
I didn't want to push you with the question and then answer one. So
no.
Yeah.
I really like this segment because it's more like talking than more an interview and Q&A, and I hope all the ones who listen that they enjoyed this one and appreciate this one, because, like I said, as you hear in my voice, I'm a little bit drained.
Yeah.
Definitely drained from the whole experience, because it's overwhelming in one way.
It's a Wednesday right now when we're recording this. This will come out on a Thursday. Why don't we give it a couple days for you to rest, and then I don't know, whatever day is best for you.
Sunday, I think, or
we can do Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday would be perfect, and then
whatever fits your schedule, because I'm up for it. Like I said, I'm a big alpha. It gives me energy, but it is draining in one way. And the ones who are spiritual, guys, exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. So Sunday will be perfect.
I'm not whining and moaning and feel pity and feel sorry for myself. This information has to come out, but I didn't expect that it should be.
You weren't prepared. You weren't ready to. I mean, you thought. And you had said this to me. You were ready to do this. You're still ready to do this, but you were shocked or surprised when because I remember when you said, "Wow, I'm really drained." I just. Yeah. That episode drained me, and that's understandable completely. If you look
upon from the first time that I spoke in 180, and compared to this chat, it's miles apart.
Yeah.
Miles apart, my friend.
Yep. Well, this was great too. I mean, I had a lot of fun with this platform, this kind of format.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
So Sunday this will come out Thursday. Sunday we'll record the next one where you can finish off this upload. And then that'll come out Monday. And then if you need a couple days or a week to rest, we can wait a week and then do the last Q&A, 2 Q&As or whenever. However many you are ready to do, I've got a platform for you. All right, my friend?
Thank you, my friend. I think I'm going to be amped up more when we do the Q&As in that way, because now it's more like telling the stories, and we've been actually a little bit
philosophical.
You see,
philosophical.
Yes,
I got you, buddy.
Philosophical. Can you cut that one out as well? Philosophical in that way, and I like to have a chat on air and off air with Jeff, because we just get back and forth with different ideas, different views. We don't agree on everything, people.
No.
But still, though, we are on the same page, and that's the beauty of it when you connect with somebody, that we can actually be that way.
Yep. All right, my friend, I do have to go because I am going to be late for my appointment.
Yep.
It was wonderful talking with you, and
likewise.
Don't hang up because I want to say goodbye to you privately. No. So I'll talk to you soon, all right, my friend?
Yes, my friend, and thank you, everybody, for all the questions. Keep them coming, and I will answer them, and I will gather them and answer them as far as I can and as good as I know. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, definitely an informative kind of encounter interview with John Phoenix. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. And looking forward to the finale of the encounter video, and then the next 1 or 2 Q&As before he takes a break. Anyway, have a wonderful day. May the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may he guide us down that path that we call life.